I'm Joel McCower here in GreenBiz studio with John Elkington, Chairman and Chief Pollinator at Volin Ventures. John, so glad to have you here. You were talking at Verge this week about Project Breakthrough, your new project, and I'm wondering what you think is more important when it comes to breakthroughs. Is it technological or culture change?
Well, I think timing is critical in all of this, and there are moments where things suddenly start to jolt forward, and in that context, I think it's a combination. I think technology is critical, and it acts often as a catalyst for cultural change, because people then become aware that certain things that they'd always thought of as impossible are becoming possible. And cultures can be quite fluid at times. You think about cell phones and so on. People move quite quickly when the right technology is there. So I think they go hand in hand, but cultural change is the bigger challenge.
Well, that's certainly the case when it comes to climate. I guess most people don't adapt to a technology because it addresses climate change. They adapt to it because it's a better technology. Do you think we could be, for lack of a better term, selling the climate change aspect of things more?
I've worked on climate for about 40 years, and I think it's got easier than it once was, but I think it's still a very tough sell to most ordinary people. It doesn't mean that they're not increasingly aware that it's a real set of challenges, and it's coming at them harder and faster than most people might have imagined. But to go at them head on and say, this is climate friendly or whatever, I still don't think that works. So you've got to have a range of other benefits that are seductive.
I think sustainability people in general need to understand just change management more.
Yeah.
And have you seen that anyone do that well?
I think there are change management consultancies that have started to come into this space and offer services based on what they've done in other areas. But I think we're not simply talking about organizational change here. We're talking about a much more systemic sort of set of processes, and I don't think there are consultants in that. I mean, and many people will go through a lifetime without seeing, the sort of level of cultural change that I think we're about to go through. But oddly, once it starts to happen, a lot of people go along with it. It feels strange for a while, and then we get used to it. We're quite an adaptable species.
So I know you talked to a lot of boards of directors of big companies. What do you counsel them about how to anticipate and adapt to and ultimately profit from the kinds of changes that you see coming?
Well, part of and Joel, you know it, I mean, part of it is just simply to get them to listen. I mean, these people, they're sort of insulated in their sort of 60th floor environments. There's hissing air conditioning, there's this sort of hiss of deference all around them. They can't hear nothing. I mean, and so part of it is just saying, can you let us just puncture your bubble a little? And in the past that would mean bringing in activist NGOs, and then it was social entrepreneurs, people like Muhammad Yunus, and now it's the sort of people that you get coming here to Verge. It's the people who are working at the exponential frontiers of innovation. And it's weird, many of these people in the C-suite or the boardrooms don't often meet people like that. They meet their chief innovation officers, but it's a much more transactional process than I think what we now need.
And what's the key message that these people can potentially bring to boards that would be at least a game shifter, if not a game changer?
Well, I think it goes into two dimensions in a way, and the simplest one is it's an impact horizon, and in a way it goes from negative impact to positive impact. And when I started in this space 40 years ago, I was doing environmental impact assessments, and that was looking at the downside, the footprints, the risks. And now we've got more and more people talking about positive impact and how you scale that. But that scale axis is the really complicated one. Most people in most companies still are thinking about this as a challenge that can be addressed in an incremental way. And we show that axis sort of going exponential, and it's disconcerting, because once you get into the factor 1, factor 10, factor 100, things go strange very quickly. And trying to get boards to think through the consequences of all of that is still quite difficult. Even after Airbnb and Uber and some of these breakthrough business models, they still struggle with it. We're not hardwired to do exponential.
So one of the big things that have to change is boards themselves. But
I think it's to get them out and actually get them to see a different world and to have them visit places where the world is changing very, very fast. And you know, VERGE does that, although at the moment you're not getting a huge number of CEOs and CFOs coming through, and I think that's the challenge. And if they won't come to us, we've got to go to them. We've got to take VERGE and things like that and sort of put it in the boardroom so they have a fairly direct, immediate experience.
well, let's do that. John Elkington, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Joel.